Welcome back, my dark beings, to the Dark Void, ruled by me, 951, and welcome back to WTF News / reactions, I guess. But today, this is an important thing. Something terrible has happened in the gaming space right now, and it involves Ninten. I can't say the full name because, obviously, but it's the one with the red plumber. Basically, it has gone devastating, and we're gonna be watching Young's point of view here because I just saw this before I made my first video, and that involves that game too because Undead Horde, because that one it about summoning mechanics. How about that? Basically, Nintendo threatens tons of games, respawns, and basic game mechanics, and I agree with this. And like I said, I've seen the thumbnail and I've seen other people's thumbnails, and it basically is about summoning monsters. Summoning something that has been around since who knows how long. And this could devastate a lot of games because many games have a summoning mechanic. I don't know what the patent entails. We're going to be watching Young Guys here video here. But if the patent says, hey, we don't like your summoning, if it says any kind of form of summoning, that means every game, including the Undead Horde game that I play, does that mean every game that has a summoning mechanic is now no longer available? Would that mean that Ninten will be suing everybody on the planet at this point for basically just being able to summon something? I mean, think of any game with a summoning mechanic, and that's basically probably, who knows? So, yeah, I don't know, but I'll give my 2 cents at the end. See it, but if it's that bad, like if it takes away all summoning and gaming, then this is just gonna be, then I'll give my 2 cents. But still, oh my god, this is insane. I can't believe it. A company that I used to love is literally this so desperate to keep, you know what, I'll talk about it later, but still, it is. Okay, let's keep up. Let's watch this video, and then I'll give my 2 cents at the end of the video. Unless I have to talk during it. It depends. Oh my gosh. Can't believe this. Alright, Young, take it away. Also, just to let you know, I'm suffering from my head cold, so if I talk a little bit funny, it's because of that.
There are few things I despise more in the games industry than seeing game companies trademark or patent game mechanics. To me, that's like the equivalent of somebody saying that certain types of brush strokes belong to me and no other painter can use that now. Or music, saying that certain types of musical techniques are now patented and therefore other musicians can't express themselves with that.
Exactly.
Or with books, saying that certain techniques like rhymes are now patented and only I can do rhymes.
I gotta pause this for a bit. But yeah, I agree. Basically, trying to patent something so basic is paramount at just monopolizing, which they are. They've already monopolized their pokey somethings. I can't say the full name at this point. If I say it by accident, so be it. But yeah, they are so desperate to keeping their vegan, pokey stuff happening. Like, I can't say the full name. I can't say without potentially getting hit by a copyright strike because I have no idea what Ninten wants. But yeah, at this point, it is so insane how much the plumber company, the red plumber company, how about that? I'll call them the red plumbers. How about that? I'll just call them that because that's basically their main mascot at this point. The red plumbers continuously, and if you don't know, Ninten, and then put the DO at the end because I don't know how to say their names at this point. I'm worried that if I say them, I'll get hit by a copyright strike. But either way, I'll just call them the Red Plumbers. The Red Plumbers literally are trying to monopolize their pocket monsters. How about that? I'll call them pocket monsters at this point. They're trying to do their best. They're so desperate, especially considering how they're still battling Power World. Which so far Power World is still surviving. They're most smart to keep up, to keep the barrier against it. But now with this, it is just full on monopoly, and they're so desperate. It is insane. Okay, we're going to rewind that a bit. Oh my god.
crimes are now patented and only.
Sorry about the frame rates and sorry about the lagginess. I don't know what's going on.
And everyone else.
Our only hope is an ad.
To other techniques. It just
legitimate. An ad needs to happen
because ultimately.
Oh my god! I don't know what's going on right now.
Mechanics and techniques that define art. It's how they're used to express. It's the expression of those techniques. And patenting game mechanics or trademarking game mechanics.
Yes. It just
feels like you're limiting
artistic nature.
Essentially trying to monopolize certain aspects of how you make games. We have plenty of examples of such occurrences, like how Warner Brothers patented the
BS.
System.
I still call BS on that one.
They recently killed off this game that was in development.
I'm still hating for that.
I was going to utilize that system, but that's been shut down. So,
like I said, they don't deserve to be in there. They don't deserve to be in gaming.
They're going to be utilized until Warner Brothers decides to, and nobody's allowed to take inspiration from that, because if they do, they might be up for a lawsuit. Another company that is well known for patenting game mechanics is Nintendo.
Yep, they keep doing it.
Another patent that might potentially impact how game creators are able to express themselves. Right here we have an article from news outlet GameSpray published on September 9th,
which is BS.
2025. It reads right here, last week Nintendo and the Pokemon Company received a U.S. patent on summoning a character and letting it fight another. It is right here in this bullet point. The more exact detail reads as follows. Exactly 1 week ago on September 2nd,
that needs to be revoked. That needs to be revoked immediately.
Trademark Office granted Nintendo another patent, U.S. patent number 12,403,397, which covers the fundamental gameplay mechanic of summoning a character and letting it fight another. The related patent application was filed in March of 2023 and has now been granted by the USPTO without any objection. And this kind of
Are you serious?
Nintendo has been suing Pocket Pair, the developers of Power World, despite the fact that Power World plays nothing like Pokemon, while there are aspects of its gameplay that are reminiscent, like the ability to collect monsters and creatures via a throwable device. The fact of the matter is that the game, when you kind of actually get your hands on it, it's nothing like Pokemon.
Yeah.
You could claim that some of the pals in Power World,
some of the characters in Power are blatantly look like the same one.
Nintendo can pursue, but because that's a more difficult case, Nintendo is trying to take the angle of we patented and trademarked,
which is insane,
mechanics that Power World is utilizing, and that angle is just completely messed up.
Yeah.
A, the fact that you can trademark and patent game mechanics at all, and B,
it's idiotic.
Again, just ultimately doesn't really play.
The downside is, thanks to that, they will continue
to own these game mechanics.
Sorry, I had to pause it. And thanks to that, to the fact that, you know, the Red Plumber Company, I'm going to come on the Red Plumbers at this point. The Red Plumbers are literally trying to basically doing whatever it takes to win. What's worse is that every patent they make, and they're still making patents to make sure they can win, every time they make a new patent, that means that's another patent, another something happening that nobody else can use. Nobody else can use anything because the Red Plumbers keep patenting stuff left and right. It won't be long before you can't even go fishing at this point. I mean, think about it. How many patents are they going to take? In fact, think about it. If they decide to basically make their car racing game, patent their car racing game entirely, nobody's going to be able to make a car racing game at all. Not only that, how far will that patent go? No other company is going to be able to race. How much is the Red Plumbers going to take away from us to try to patent everything? Imagine having to go out doing something, and for example fishing. What happens if you go out, you're going to go fish somewhere, and then somebody say, hey, you can't do that. It's patented by the Red Plumbers, so you have to pay them money just to even do that. Think about that. That is literally what the Red Plumbers are trying to do. It is insane. And yes, I'm going to keep calling the Red Plumbers because I don't want to say the name without potentially getting hit with a copyright strike, because you know them, they will literally do whatever it takes to win. Huh. I gotta rewind this again.
Again, just ultimately doesn't really play anything like Pokemon. Nintendo taking the approach of we own these game mechanics for a game that ultimately doesn't resemble what Pokemon does. It's pretty egregious. And this patent will give Nintendo basically more ammunition to to pull
more
off something
idiotic
like that,
ammunition
where
for
they
no
can go
reason.
after developers for using mechanics that Nintendo can say we own that, and they can stifle competition that way if they
It's
feel
insane.
like another project.
Now the question: how far
in the way
does
it
this go?
resembles Pokemon because
How
of
far?
aspects of, I don't know, monster collecting or catching, they can just kind of decide to threaten those kinds of developers or
It's
intimidate them
insane.
from not making Pokemon style
Okay,
games.
so-
when that
so far-
genre of game should be something that other developers
I'm
should
only
have creativity
hearing, like,
with,
fighting
the
between
creative
monsters
freedom
between
to
the
kind of
others.
take their
Okay.
own spin on it without fearing Nintendo's wrath, because Nintendo shouldn't have full ownership over that genre.
Yeah,
of game.
it is
Now,
insane.
it's worth noting that more details have come to light about the patent, and Kaylee Plagg, who's been an
Let's
editor
see.
for outlets like GameSpot, Polygon, and The Verge, came out and said this after reading the specific language of that.
Let's see
patent,
how it is.
saying, quote, genuinely not to pick on this particular headline because there are a few out there, but having read the patent, it's very clearly describing auto battle as it appears in Scarlet and Violet, not like all monster summoning, lol. In a follow-up, she continues by saying that I haven't formed a solid opinion on the patent effort in general, but
that
I just
also
think
means Undead
being
Horde.
precise with language is important, which I do agree with.
Yeah.
Like one article called out Persona being affected by this, but Persona has no mechanic at all resembling what's described in this patent. So that is worth bringing up, the exact
Okay.
language of that particular
But
patent.
then
Also,
again,
Nintendo just has a bunch
even
of other
still-
patents that do cover just basic mechanics
just-
of like throwing balls to collect monsters.
No baseball
and whatnot,
anymore.
to summon them and to collect them. Now, what exactly is
At
auto
least.
battle? The exact mechanic that this specific patent seems to be tackling. Well, right here we have an article from Game Rant that kind of describes it. Basically, auto battle allows you to summon your Pokemon and have it go out and battle other Pokemon without entering the battle screen, and you're having to like grind.
Alright, I'm gonna move my curtain out of the way.
engaging in a manual battle every single time. Players can auto battle almost straight away by pressing the R button. The top Pokemon in the party will be sent out to battle any wild Pokemon lingering nearby. Who wins in the battle is decided by a number of factors: the type of each Pokemon, their level, and so on. Basically, you have the Pokemon do the battle for you without commands from you, and that way just accelerates the process of battling wild Pokemon and grinding and leveling up.
But
But
how
even if
much
that
does
patent
this take?
specifically covers auto battle,
take out the
it doesn't
games. How
change
mu-
the fact that it is still a game
sorry.
mechanic that Nintendo is
who's coming back
patenting.
up?
It doesn't change the fact that Nintendo is giving themselves legal power to ensure that
It is
if they don't
insane.
like how another game utilizes that mechanic, or if Nintendo deems a game that uses a similar mechanic to be too much of a competition or too much of a threat, Nintendo can go
They
after
want a
it. And
monopoly.
it doesn't change
They
the
want a
fact that it
monopoly.
is going to limit other developers' ability to be able to utilize that mechanic in their own creative way through their own expression, because of fear that a company like Nintendo might come after them. Here we have another outlet
It is
that
insane.
describes this patent more specifically. There's an article from Video Games Chronicle that says that the patent describes a situation where a console
here you
or
go.
other system is being used to run a video game from storage. The player controls a character in a virtual space. The player can perform an input command to make a sub-character appear. Example, summon another character or another creature, you name it. If there is an enemy where the sub-character appears, the player can control a battle between the sub-character and the enemy. So the player itself doesn't directly control that battle, but have the
Okay.
character engage in battle with that enemy. If there's no enemy where the sub-character appears, the sub-character will automatically move around. The player can move the sub-character to a
My
different
God.
location on the battlefield, and if an enemy is there, they can control a battle between the sub-character and the enemy. Basically, the ability to control a character or entity you've summoned to
So
battle
basically,
another enemy
any summoning
without
game.
the player getting directly involved.
So any
Their
summoning
direct
game.
involvement lies in commanding a character
Oh
to
my
go
God.
battle. Video Games Chronicle aptly highlights that this is a mechanic that could also apply to something like the Pikmin series,
Aye.
where you can summon Pikmin and you can command them to do battle, but you yourself don't issue input commands because the Pikmin automatically do battle as long as you tell them to go battle. And sure, this specific patent and mechanic may not specifically affect something like Persona, because all of those battles are manual. You don't
Yeah, they're
summon
manual,
a
but
character
still.
or an entity or a creature that you can
But even
command
still,
to
it's
do an
idiotic.
automatic battle for you. You still have to do the turn-based manual inputs. But there are plenty of games where you can summon creatures that do automatic battle for you. Any fantasy game that has like necromancy, for example, you can raise the dead or summon entities from
That's
beyond,
literally
and then they
something.
serve as companion characters who automatically do battle for you when there is a
I'm gonna say this literally. At that point, they might as well just patent magic at that point, because literally, that's literally something. Summoning, the basic act of summoning something, it literally converts every single game that has basically what it describes in the patent Auto battling is every single game known to exist that isn't manual. I mean, Undead Horde, for example, a game where I play that I have on my channel right now, where I get to play a necromancer, summon minions, and they get the battle mod for me. Now I can fight myself, but I can literally, I can fight myself if I wanted to, but sometimes I would let my minions fight for me, and they're the ones that take the brunt of the damage. And they're the ones that keep fighting. Isn't that considered auto battling? Seriously, what the heck? I mean, what about Warframe? That has characters in the game that has summoning mechanics. We have Necros who summons the undead. We have we have Atlas who summons golems. I mean, what was it? Also, does that mean that was it the Catwoman? Also, because she has a main kitty on her side that basically runs around automatically. And we also have the recent Oraxia, who basically summons spiders if you end an enemy. And they all fight by themselves. We can literally just stand away from them and they will do the work for you. What the heck? How much? Dude, this entire pattern is so broad that literally it's going to destroy every summoning mechanic. I mean, think for example Diablo 3 and before that, you get to summon the like minions. If you play the Witch Doctor, you get to summon like countless minions that fight for you. You can fight yourself, but you're basically letting your minions fight for you. How many games can you think of in your head that has summoning mechanics? I mean, there is so many that literally this pattern is going to basically destroy them all, or basically force them to change those mechanics. Which means every game that has it will have to basically find a way to figure out how to rearrange all these summoning mechanics. It is insane. Oh my god. I gotta move back on that one. Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on with my computer right now.
To automatically do battle for you when there is a hostile entity approaching you. That basically describes this mechanic that Nintendo's patenting. In Elder Scrolls, you can summon an entity from beyond and have it do battle for you. In Diablo, you can play as a necromancer that can summon undead entities and have them do battle for you. So are those now under risk of being sued by Nintendo because this patent was approved? That's ridiculous. What Nintendo is patenting here is basically summonable companions who will come to your aid. That's in so many freaking games, and that will be in so many freaking games. It is a central mechanic to a lot of games where you can like summon entities and have them do battle for you. That's not a new concept that Nintendo came up with. And then on top of this, keep in mind that this isn't the only patent related to Pokemon-esque mechanics, or
like they're so desperate
related to, you know,
they were so desperate
or characters.
They're so desperate
to have them do battle for you. Nintendo has a bunch of patents that they've used against Power World to try to essentially diminish that competition.
Power World is like currently,
example, with the lawsuit against Power World, Nintendo essentially alleged that Power World infringes on 3 existing patents that are related to monster catching gameplay, including summoning pals by throwing pal spheres and using pals as vehicles like gliders. The fact that Nintendo can just have ownership over that and they get to decide
what about Machine?
Who gets to utilize those mechanics and who doesn't based on who they deem to be dangerous competition or not. Mechanics that are so broad that a lot of games could utilize them in all kinds of creative ways. It's just like the idea of Nintendo having all that control.
Can't no longer run a horse
it's just gross to me. The idea of any company, period, having any semblance of full-fledged control over a specific kind of mechanic, over a specific genre of games, is just gross to me, because it is just so limiting in the art form that is
limiting, but also
game making, and how all developers, including Nintendo, the way they've evolved themselves is by taking inspiration from each other and one-upping each other and just kind of evolving together.
Does that mean Digimon is no longer available now?
Ensuring that
I highly doubt that. They stole theirs first.
Now, it's worth knowing the distinction between trademarks and
the Red Plumber stole their
Games Chronicle
ideas
describes
from them first, but Digimon first.
Trademark law says that a company could lose its trademark if it doesn't challenge any infringements, whereas with patents, the entity who owns the patent to something can choose not to pursue any other company that decides to use
That
it.
is insane.
It feels its own IP is being threatened.
There's literally...
So with a trademark, Nintendo would have an obligation to pursue anything that encroaches that trademark, whereas with a patent, Nintendo won't
Plumbers, you
lose
suck.
if somebody else uses a mechanic that is similar to the patented mechanic, but it does give Nintendo legal leeway to pursue and go after anything that does encroach on that patent if Nintendo feels like their IP is being threatened. So Nintendo can pick and choose who they allow the use of things that they've patented.
They're gatekeeper.
They don't allow.
They're basically a gatekeeper.
The outrage against this situation has already grown to pretty substantial size.
Oh, I bet.
Everything reported on this, and you can see right here, there are more tweets than likes on this article.
Yes, abolish Game Pass. Agreed.
Basically advocating for the abolishment of anything that involves patents.
Exactly.
Mechanics. Hell, the top post here reads, abolish gameplay patents.
I agree.
The very concept of being able to do so. You've got a bunch of quote tweets saying similar things like patents for gameplay mechanics just shouldn't exist, period. It's like trying to patent a chord progression. That's what I mean. Musical techniques, paintbrush techniques, writing techniques. It's all like things that help you create something, but it's not the creation itself. The unique creation itself is, again, the expression, the unique expression of how you utilize all of these mechanics.
Once again, the Plumbers
just uniquely
are going to try to destroy everything.
You already have plenty of folks talking about this. Top posts saying things like there's a line between we need copyright patent law in principle and the current implementation of copyright patent law is kind of broken, and we need to find this line stat.
Yes,
I do agree that with patent laws, especially where video games are concerned and where game mechanics can be patented, it is broken.
It won't be long before they try to
this is allowed to happen at all. The ability to patent such game mechanics means that entire genres can be owned by specific companies, and that is just something that should not be allowed in what is ultimately a creative medium, what is an artistic form. Or at the very least, that's one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts.
Yeah, my thoughts is that it's idiotic. I'm gonna pause it there because he just talks about some stuff at the end, random stuff about outro stuff. But yeah, I have to say that this is just idiotic. The fact that they're basically patenting this is so idiotic. I mean, they are so desperate. Man, wait, when did they go after Power World? Was it during March? Somebody tells me. Somebody tell me. I remember. Because if it's because of that, then the reason why this whole thing's happening is because of Power World. I'm not blaming Power World. And it's just so idiotic that the Red Plumbers, I'm going to call them that, if you know who I'm talking about, are so desperate to keep and have a monopoly on their idiotic Pocket Monster stuff that they don't want to let anyone else have fun. It is insane. And I highly agree with the people saying that we should abolish game mechanics from patents because that is not right. It is not right. I want to see advancements in these mechanics. There are so many mechanics out there that should be, levitated, that everyone else wants to create and basically evolve. That is how new game mechanics get made. That is how we could be evolving. I mean, many games should be evolving right now, but instead we have patents and patents saying, no, you cannot. No, you cannot do this because it's mine, but it's mine, it's mine. And I'm not going to let you because I'm the only one that can have it. I'm the only one. Freaking idiot babies crying. But seriously, it is insane. I mean, like, for example, the freaking Nemesis system, that should be around in many games by now. But instead, WB is so idiotic that they're not even using it. I don't even know I don't even think they realize they still have it. But even still, we still have to wait at least another 10 years because I think it ends in 2035. God, before we even get a chance to see this come back again. It is insane. They just not only closed down my favorite company, and also they caused so much damage. Not only that, they don't bother anymore. They are not even bothering. There's also reports saying that they only bother with trying to low cost to making games. They're not even bothering, and they're just looking for trends. Sorry, that's off topic. But even still, the fact that we're getting patents like this is insane. How long before somebody's coming to decide that, before they start going into real life and decide, hey, you can't do that. I have a patent on that. You can't do that. Dude, I'm just doing it. This is like my natural. I do this all the time. No, not anymore. You gotta stop doing that, or else I'm gonna be suing you for that. So which means, seriously, it goes back to my fishing thing. What happens if some company decides to patent fishing in game mechanics and nobody is able to fish in real life? How long? Now I know it's in game, but how long before they decide, you know what, I want to patent this entire thing? So fishing is now mine in gaming and also in real life. Imagine that. People trying to do regular stuff and that gets patented because a game company decides, no, you can't do that. I'm the one that owns that. It is so idiotic. The fact that the Red Plumbers are doing whatever it takes to keep their hands a monopoly on these pocket monsters is insane. It is insane and so desperate. Seriously, they are so desperate. And I am sick of them. I am sick of that. And it hurts me because I played the Super, one back in the day. That was my first console. And I played that. And I freaking like it, and I kept buying their stuff because I like the company. Now I hate them. They suck to me now. And if this one, I don't even want to spend any money on them at all. I hate them to the very core of my being now. They don't deserve my money, and at this point, they need to feel the wrath of people not buying their games. And I highly implore people. I'm not saying this, you should do it, but I basically highly suggest people to not buy their games anymore so that the Red Plumbers can know the devastation of what happens when you step over the line. But unfortunately, I wish I can be hopeful for that, but unfortunately, the Switch sequel literally was the best-selling console, which tells me that there was too many loyalists on their side, and no matter what I say, nothing's gonna change unless they finally piss off the console, the people on their side, to finally rise up. Because at this point, their only reason why they're able to do this is because nobody is going against them. Which is why I say, any of you on the Red Plumbers loyalty side, please stop for a bit and realize that the more you support them, the more damaging they become. The more damaging they cause to the gaming community. Because I don't want to keep seeing so much stuff happening, so much stuff getting destroyed because some companies are doing this. And thanks to the Red Plumber, how long before I start seeing games without the summoning mechanic? Like I said, necromancy has existed. Now, we don't know if it existed in real life, but necromancy has existed so much. I mean, it is created in real life, like the Legend of the Zombie, how they made zombies in real life, like through mixtures of stuff. I'm not going to explain here, but literally look up zombies, how they were created. Literally, that is existed before video games were even around. So the fact that they're trying to patent some basic mechanics of summoning something, in fact summoning, which, just to let you know, magic has been around before gaming. Summoning has been around before. Seriously, I mean, for example, what happens if you're in a game, like, for example, if I remember, what happens in Shadow Meteor 2, you get to summon your orcs. And if you want them to fight by themselves, they can do it themselves. They're fighting by themselves. Does that mean Shadow of Middle-earth is no longer able to do it? Well, of course, we're never going to see that ever again. But what happens that? What about those kind of mechanics? Like, you're in a battle and you get to summon some people to fight by your side. Like, for example, what was it? I don't know. Some games that have that kind of ability. Man. I mean, you can still fight, but you don't automatically, and they automatically fight by themselves. Think about that. You could be third person, summoning people. They go out and fight. You could be in the back lines, and then, nope, sorry, that's copyrighted now. Think of every game you think about summoning, about auto-battling. But even still, summoning is still something. Think about that. Every game that has a summoning mechanic, that's auto-battling. Let's just go be specific there. And now, it's patented by the Red Plumbers. There are so many games right now. Not only that, but there's so many indie games that have that kind of mechanic. It is insane. It is insane. And I highly agree with the people that say that we should abolish all game mechanic patents. Any patents for video game mechanics, for basic video game mechanics, should be abolished because these are so easy to make that literally anybody can make them. It is such an insanity that this is still allowed. How people are still able to patent these stuff and basically, you know, hold everything back. I want to see evolution here. But, of course, Red Plumbers or the evil corporation, they're two-faced. They're the two-face of the gaming world. They will support you, but they also will go against you. And I'm here to say that you're never going to see any kind of games from them on my channel ever at all. Because as long as they're like this, I'm not going to bother. I'm literally not going to bother. They suck to me now. I hate them. I like the content they make, but I just can't support them with anything at all. It's saddening. So yeah, that's about it. Let me know in the comments what you think about this situation. If you are basically hate the fact that the Red Plumbers, I can't say the actual name, so please, just this is Ninten and then ... put the D-O at the end. All right. Hopefully that helps you describe. But yeah, tell me what you think about this problem. Tell me if the Red Plumbers are basically overstepping so much just to win. To make sure they have a monopoly on everything. Let me know if you think game mechanics should be abolished and should never be allowed to get patented at all. Because at this point, it's getting to that point where you're not going to be able to do anything. It won't be long before a company starts getting genres. Before companies game guys decide, hey, that's my genre. The combat style, that's my genre. No, that's my genre. And that's my genre. I mean, seriously. Let me know what you think about this situation at all. And spread the word about this, because this needs to spread. And basically the Red Plumbers need to realize what happens. There needs to be so much backlash now. We need to start making so much backlash against them that they need to realize they need to start realize they cannot keep doing this. They can't. And they try to. We need to basically vote with our money. At this point, we need to also try to convince also other loyalists to join our side. Don't go after them. Don't go angry at them. Try to give them evidence. Try to be reasonable and let them know. You do realize the more you keep doing this, the more you support them and letting this happen. You need to be able to say no, because the more this happens, the more we're going to be losing games and the more mechanics we're going to stop. We're never going to see these mechanics. Just somehow. My God, my brain is already sick right now, and I don't need to be stressed out about this and getting more sick. Ugh. Either way, comment, subscribe down below. Spread the word about this. Like and share the video to spread this word to make sure everyone knows what's happening, and to make sure Ninten, I almost said the first name, the Red Plumbers get a backlash. And also, if there's any petitions happening, please please announce the petitions, because at this point we need to get so many petitions out there to stop basic game mechanics being patented. Seriously, I understand protecting your IP, but going after game mechanics is insane. Like and share the video. Also, don't forget to press the black bell button to be notified whenever videos pop up, or just come to my channel if you want to say uploaded or not, because sometimes I forget. And especially with the new system YouTube channel put in, it's gonna be bad, especially with the new restricted mode. Which, go to your profiles, check if the restricted mode is on, because that will actually remove videos from your feed, so you don't get any of my videos. So for example, this video I just posted up, if its restricted mode is on, you won't be seeing this. So hopefully this isn't restricted. So make sure you know that that's not on. All right. Man, this is gonna be hard for me to add in the outro. Either way, for right now, my dark minions dismissed.